Hello and welcome once again to Ask the Gynecologist. Dr. Alalade here. I'm hoping you can hear me well. This is Dr. J at Ask the Gynecologist, and tonight I'll be talking about how you can calculate your fertile window. So if you're free, join me and let's have a quick talk together. I'm so sorry I'm coming up late tonight. It's not too late, it's a bit late, but it's not too late. So if you're free, join me as always and let's have a quick discussion together. This is Dr. J at Ask the Gynecologist, and I know it's been a while that I've been on live. Um, it's just been busy. When you know you have a lovely, beautiful baby, and here in the abroad, we don't rely on any help like that. So it's you and your wife, and it's busy and it's tasking. And you can imagine a newborn baby eating at odd hours of the night. So it's not always as fun like that, but it's doable and it can only get better. So once again, I want to say good evening. This is Dr. J here. I hope my audio is good and I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. I'm trying to bring my voice down so that I don't wake up the little one. So if you're free, join me once again and let's have chat together. I'm happy and I'm delighted to be here. And tonight I'll be talking about how to calculate your fertile window, the do's and the don'ts. The do's and the don'ts. So join me once again and let's have the discussion together. Behind me, I've got my whiteboard and I'll be using that to illustrate a lot of information that we need to capture tonight as we discuss. You see, a picture is better than 1,000 words. So trust me, a picture speaks much, much better than 1,000 words. So I'll be using this board tonight behind me to expatiate on so many important areas that we need to cover tonight. So I'm hoping that my audio is good. If my audio is very good, please give me thumbs up where you are. If my audio is very good, please give me thumbs up where you are and let me know so I can start as soon as possible. We are broadcasting simultaneously on Instagram here. We're also recording for Facebook publication, and we're also talking here on Facebook Live. If you're not yet a subscriber to our YouTube, we are on YouTube, and the benefit of being on the YouTube is that all our discussions, they are on chronologically on YouTube, and you hardly miss anything. Even if you miss anything, as soon as it's been edited, we put on the YouTube as soon as possible. So you're not missing anything by joining our YouTube page, and of course it's free. And like every month we are always on live talking about a particular topic on our monthly seminar. The monthly seminar this month is IVF Multiple Pregnancy. I want to tell you something. The ATG IVF Center is already open and we are already making changes in people's lives. So if you need IVF, you're not yet registered at the ATG IVF Center today, just go and register. And I can tell you something. See, when you go to a lot of IVF centers, they will tell you that IVF is 80, for example, 800K. By the time you start your journey with them, you start paying for medications, appointments, so on and so forth. You will have paid close to 1.6 billion for a particular IVF, one cycle. But at the ATG center, everything has been factored in: your registration, your paperwork, all your scans, tests, appointments, and all the medications you will need throughout the IVF session. And also the cost of the IVF is being factored in at one go. And we give you just that one cost so that you don't bother about any further cost. That is the beauty of ATG IVF Center, and it's already discounted. I can tell you something. If you compare our total fee for one single IVF and you consider the fee you pay at other centers, by the time you pay all those eating costs, you always come back to ATG by the grace of God. And here is a place of love, and our decision and our desire here is to ensure that people go away with smile on their faces. If you don't get a smile on your face, I'll ensure that we turn things around. So try as much as possible to call the ATG IVF Center tomorrow and at least deposit down and start your journey to motherhood. Deposit if probably 30%, 40%, 50%, 50% if possible. Deposit down and get registered. Don't wait. See, Nigerian Naira dollar is always affecting. Prices might change, but for now it's fixed. Once you start paying, you open an account with us, you pay your deposit, we fix that price for you. If price changes again, then we have to recalibrate. We don't want to do that. So pay now, join now, and don't delay. Before we lose time, let's start talking about the topic of today: ovulation. A lot of women listening to me today want to know when they ovulate. Okay, half of the questions I get every day is our people asking me a question: how can I know my fertile window? Okay, First of all, I want to say something before we start the discussion. If you're confused about your fertile window, okay, don't be. If you're trying to get pregnant, you're trying to know your fertile window so you can have sex during your fertile window, don't be in a hurry. The teaching from the Royal College of Obs and Gynae, which is a worldwide renowned body for Obs and Gynae think tank, is that if you want to get pregnant, have sex 2 to 3 times a week or every 3 days consistently. Whether you're ovulating or not, you get pregnant. If you do that for at least 6 to 12 months, almost 70% to 80% of people will get pregnant doing that alone. So by having regular intercourse 2 to 3 times a week, every 2 to 3 days, whether you're ovulating or not, you increase your chances of pregnancy from 30% to almost 90%. If you're having sex only during your ovulation, you're only giving yourself 30% to 40% chances of getting pregnant. Okay, so that's the first thing. Thank you so much. My baby is doing well. Thank you, Ibrahim Ajibola Khadija. My baby, wonderful baby, is doing well. Thank you so much for that question. Thank you for checking up on me and checking up on the baby, most importantly. So that is the first thing you must get from this discussion. Number 2 is that don't be deceived by anybody telling you to be looking for egg whites. Not every woman will get egg whites. Some people, when they are ovulating, the vagina is foaming with discharge, like this clear discharge that is foaming. Some people, when they are ovulating, they see this clear, thick discharge. Like when you break egg white, egg white, you see the egg like that. You see the yolk, that yellow. The other white bit, which is the egg white, is what we're trying to talk about. Some women, they will see that. That could be a sign of ovulation. So for some women, their temperature in their body, in their lower abdomen, will be so hot. That is why, if you studied agriculture when you're in high school or in secondary school, they'll tell you that animals, whenever they are on heat, what they call it heat cycle or the hystereous cycle. Animals, okay? Hystereous cycle. Sorry. So we call animals, whenever they are on heat, we say they are on their hystereous cycle. Okay, that is they are on heat. Okay, they want to have sex with the most available male at that point. The same thing to women. During their ovulation, their lower tummy is so warm. You put your hand on your girlfriend or your wife's tummy, the way she's ovulating is warm, as if she's incubating something. It's because she's ovulating. At that point, if you touch her, she'll probably get pregnant. But you can still get pregnant even as outside ovulation. I've seen people, they had intercourse on day 5 of their period, just as their period was ending. Day 4, 5, they had sex and they got pregnant. So, and they are sure that they never had any other sex at that time. Yes, they got pregnant. So I've seen people, they got pregnant even day 5, 6 of their cycle. But most people will get pregnant definitely around the ovulation day. But you can still get pregnant before and even after your ovulation day. If you're confused about ovulation after this talk today, and you want to know when to have sex, just have sex regularly, every 2 to 3 times a week. But for you that have regular cycle, this might be for you. Number 3, if your cycle is bang on schedule, you can put on your phone app, and your phone app can basically predict when you're going to expect your next cycle. You are likely to have a regular period. And if you're having a regular period, you're probably ovulating almost 85 to 90% of the time. If your periods are regular and they are predictable, you are likely to be ovulating almost 85% of the time. Okay, that is number 3. Number 4, okay, if you think your period is not regular and you're panicking, don't panic. That is the worst thing you can do. Stress can affect the regularity of your cycle. So don't ever let stress affect you. It's the last thing you want. So without much ado, let us go to the meat of this discussion. Don't forget to get registered for the seminar coming up 26th of this month. That will be, I think, next weekend. Not this one, but the upper weekend. Now, for the discussion of today, look at this thing on this chart. This line, this blue line here. You can see this blue line all the way here. Okay? That is the total cycle length of a woman. whenever the doctor asks you, what is your menstrual cycle? Or how long is your menstrual cycle? What they mean is that how many days are in between the first day you see bleeding for this month and the next day you see bleeding for the next month. So how many days in between there, okay? If it's 28 days, that means that you have a 28-day cycle. If it's 29 days, so if you have 28 days in between the first day you see bleeding, so excuse me, if you have 28 days, excuse me, so if you have 28 days, okay, between the first day you see bleeding, day one, and the next time you see bleeding here, day one, if you have 28 days in between, you have a 28-day cycle. If you have 29 days in between, then you have a 29-day cycle. If you have a 30 days in between, you have a 30-day cycle. Okay, so on and so forth. If you have a 27-day, you have a 27-day cycle, 26-day cycle, 25-day cycle, 24-day cycle. Okay, or even 31 days, 32, it doesn't matter. As far as you're having regular cycle, you are almost likely to be ovulating. If you want that one-to-one chat with me as your doctor to be taking you through your information, you can join the premium services. Gloria has already put up the link for the premium services. Now, I always tell people in our discussion that for you to understand what menstrual cycle is, divide the total cycle into two. But the funny thing is that when people hear divided into two, they think we are saying two equal parts. It is not two equal parts. Divide something into two does not mean two equal parts. After all, when we're all younger, they tell you to divide meat with your younger brother or younger sister or younger siblings at home. You cut it into two, you give yourself the bigger chunk and give the other one the smaller chunk. It's into two anyway, but that doesn't mean two equal parts. Some people are very nice. They'll take the small one anyway. But when I say divide your cycle into two parts, I'm not saying into two equal parts. I'm only saying into two. And for these purposes of today, divide it into two. Into two means, and clearly means, the last part of this division, okay, must be 14 days constant. And the first part of this thing here, this cycle length, can be anything. Can be X. X means anything. So these 14 days should be sacrosanct. 14. Because that is the way God designed it. Give that to God. Give that to you, to God. Okay? That is your tithe. Excuse me, I'm just joking. But that is your part where it's always constant. The second part of your cycle. So in this case, in this situation, if you have a 14-day cycle, definitely, and you have a 28-day cycle, that means that you have 14 here and 14 here. If you have a 29-day cycle, you're going to have 14 here and 15 here. If you have a 30-day cycle, you're going to have 14 here and 16 here. A 31-day cycle, you have 14 here and you're going to get 17 here. The other one, you have a 14-day cycle, you're going to get 14 there and 18 on this side. Let's go to the other lengths other ones that are shorter. You have 14 constant, 14 constant, 14 constant, 14 constant. And you're going to have what here? 13, 12, 11, and 10. Is it making sense? So now, let's go back to this cycle length. So this X here can be anything depending on your cycle length. So therefore, somebody will say, but doctor, I've got irregular cycle. If you have an irregular cycle, then this cannot work for you. But 80% of women listening to me will have a regular cycle. But once in a while, your cycle length that is supposed to be 28 days could be 26 days, 27, 28, 26, 27, 28, 29, 26, 27, 28. If you have a cycle length that's always varying about 1 or 2 days, it's not irregular. Stress, job hunting, examination, particular event, prayer meeting, fasting, vigil, stress, stuff like that can make your period miss a day or skip a day or two. That does not make you to have a regular cycle. Those things happen. That is life. Nothing is constant in life. Things like that happen. So if you have a 1 or 2 day variation in your cycle, that does not mean that you already have a regular cycle at all. So that answers that. So now, but what does all this mean? Okay. Another thing you must be careful about is that just the fact that your ovulation is day 14 in this particular month does not mean that your next month, the July 14, your ovulation will be on 14 again. Doesn't mean that August 14, your ovulation will be August 14. No. Because every month has different days, your ovulation could change. And I've seen people ovulate twice in a month. It's possible. If, for example, you have a 28-day cycle and your first day of bleeding is January 1st, that means that you're probably, sorry, I want to put it this way. I've seen people have bleeding twice a month. It's possible. So if your first day of bleeding is January 1st and you have a 28-day cycle, okay, and you bleed first bleeding January 1st, okay, first day of bleeding, that means that on January 29th, you're going to have another bleeding again. That means that you're probably having 2 bleeding in a month. It's possible. But it's very, very unusual for you to ovulate twice in a month. It's possible technically, but it's very, very rare for you to ovulate twice in a month. The fact that you ovulated January 16 doesn't mean you're going to ovulate February 16. Doesn't mean you're going to ovulate March 16 or April 16 or whatever 16. No, it can change. In fact, it will change because every month has different month lengths. Let's go back to this discussion here. If you have a 28-day cycle, for example, okay, that means that once you get here on day 14, you're probably ovulating. Got you. If you have a 15-day cycle, that means that probably on day 15, you'll be ovulating. So for day 15 of that cycle, let us take an example that makes a little bit more sense. If you have your cycle length at 26 days, that means that on day 12 of your cycle, not day 12 of the month, though, day 12 of your cycle, that's when you're going to ovulate. So let's say, for example, this Mrs. Lagbaja has a 29-day cycle, okay? And our first day of bleeding is January 2nd. Sorry, let's put it here. So 29-day cycle, first day of bleeding, January 2nd. Okay? January 2. That means that if you had 29-day cycle to this, you're going to get 31. That means on January 31, okay, that is the end of that particular cycle. That means February 1 should be seen bleeding again. Good. If somebody has January 2 as the first day of bleeding, and she has a 29-day cycle, and she'll be ovulating on day 15, or on day 15 of the cycle, that means that on January 17, she'll be ovulating. That is to say, January 2 plus 15 days, January 17. If this is confusing for you, just use an app. But for those that are a bit okay with my talk here, January 17. In fact, it's highly important that in your phone app, download it now that has menstrual calendar, and it will save you and help you to track your calendar. And if any doctor asks you, give me your menstrual cycle history, you can just click on the app, forward it and send it straight away to the doctor, or even take screenshot and send it to me, a doctor, to go through and to tell you what you should expect, what is what about your period. Just me looking at your app pictures, I can tell you if your periods, your cycle is regular. I can tell you when you should be ovulating and when you expect to ovulate. So let's take this person that has a 30-day cycle, and this person had the first bleeding on January 3rd. A 30-day cycle, that's 3 plus 16 will be 19. So this person will be ovulating on day 19. Basic. Day 19 of that January. Okay? Day 19. Yeah, January 19th, okay? That's how it works, so on and so forth. In fact, somebody has put on the screen here, you can use Flow app. I'm sure if you're a lady, you're watching me, you know there's an app called Flow app, FLO. It will tell you, you register, some of them, and most even are free, tell you what to expect, when is your safe time to have sex. Now, after saying all this now, what does it mean to calculate your fertile window? If, for example, you have a 28-day cycle, okay, and you're ovulating on day 14 of your cycle, that means that if I know that a sperm can live up to 5 days in a woman's vagina, some notorious sperm, they are so angry and they are so I don't powerful. They can live in the vagina for up to 7 days and they'll still be hiding there, are ready to bombard the eggs being released. If I know that you got a 28-day cycle and you're ovulating on day 14 of that cycle, and the eggs and the sperm can live for up to 5 days, that means that I will say 3 days before day 14 and 2 days after day 14, you're gonna be in your fertile window. So 3 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from 12 day of cycle, 13 day of cycle, 14, 15, 16. So we have 5 days there. Those 5 days there, they are the fertile window. Those 5 days there, they are the fertile window. If you have sex around that time, you're likely to get pregnant 30% to almost 60-65%. That is what you need. But to improve your pregnancy chances, have sex regularly, every 2 or 3 days, all through your period. Now, I've explained this. Definitely, you're going to have some questions. There are many test kits you can use to track your ovulation. The Flow app is a very good one. And in fact, too, there are also other tests, Clear Blue, which you can use around your ovulation to know and to see 2 blue lines to see if you're ovulating. Okay? Clear Blue is a very good test people can use to know which day you're ovulating. But I want to first of all warn you that don't focus only and squarely on tracking your ovulation. A lot of women they've been stressed out just because they want to track their ovulation. They want to get pregnant on their ovulation. They're trying to see if they can get pregnant on their ovulation. They can get a particular gender or particular sex. Don't focus solely on that. Focus on getting pregnant. First, have regular intercourse. If you have no problems, you're doing this regular intercourse and there's no problem with your husband's sperm count, no problem with your ovaries, you're not having ovarian failure, your tubes are not blocked, your chances of pregnancy skyrockets from 30 to almost as high as 80% in your first year of regular intercourse. Half of the people that have infertility, when I talk to them, I realize that they're not even having regular intercourse. If you're trying to get pregnant, the first thing you should do is regular intercourse. And what does regular intercourse mean? Sex 2 to 3 times a week, regularly, unprotected, vaginal sexual intercourse. Increases your chance of getting pregnant. People don't know that that is what we mean. Some people trying to get pregnant, they're not having regular sex. And you wonder, what are they doing? If you're trying to get a job, your work is to apply for a job. You're trying to get pregnant, what you should do is to be attacking the field, bombarding the field with penalties, and don't waste, and even tear the net, tear the kidney, tear the nets. Dajubelu, according to some people, tear the nets. It's been a long time we've talked about improving your sexual activity in the bedroom. We're going to get back to that. I've been saying that all the time. For the last 6 months, I've not been able to get in the mood to talk about how people can improve their sexual life. So stay tuned though. The party is just starting. And we're going to come back again with those series where we talk about how to improve your sexual lifestyle. We're going to talk about how to improve your sexual experience in the bedroom. So thank you guys for listening to me tonight. I got to go off now because it's time to attend to the little one. So I got to go off now. I thank you everyone for being here tonight to listen to me. Once again, it's my total pleasure to be your host tonight. Dr. Alalade is the name, Babajide, and I'm so delighted that you're here. So before I go though, I want to take some questions, okay? So that at least we let people to express their understanding regarding the things we talk about. Thank you, Denny, Ezebuelo, Don Pedro. Gloria, Don Pedro wants to have a link to discuss with us, with me one-on-one. There's a question here on Michelle is doing well. Thank you. I'll say hi to the mom. Somebody saying, Doctor, I have mild cramping in the left abdomen in early pregnancy. Yes, you can have mild cramping, but if you're having mild cramp, ensure that you've done scan to know that the pregnancy is not ectopic, to ensure that the pregnancy is in the womb. Okay? Okay, thank you, Awele. Why is Segway? Thank you. There's a question here on Instagram, and that question is gone. Okay, I've seen it now. Hello, doctor. Some people say the right way to calculate one's menstrual cycle length is first day of bleeding till day before first day of next month. How true is that? Is correct. It's the same thing. You probably get the same number. You see, like I said again, the first day of bleeding, day 1 here, to the next day of bleeding here. Okay. So if you're counting how many days in between, you probably end there. So it's the same thing. 1 day is not going to give you a headache at all. Sweet Limsey on Instagram. Thank you so much, Chijoke Charity. I'll extend your regards to my beautiful daughter. Thank you so much. And say hi to your family members as well. How do you track for male child? Chidima and Nene, I cannot go into discussion about tracking for male child with ovulation. It's not very reliable to track for male child or female child with ovulation. Somebody saying that they don't see the slimy discharge during ovulation. Like I said at the beginning of this video, don't waste your time looking for the egg white slimy discharge to confirm whether you're ovulating or not. It's a waste of time. If you see it, it's okay, but not every woman will see that clear white discharge to indicate whether they're ovulating or not. Thank you. Ogini Abada Iduduruji. You can watch the video at your own free time, okay? Monsi Vicky Amaka. My husband has low sperm count. What can he take? Is the problem you're having right now? So basically, yes, we can talk about that. Just come to the premium services. I'll work with you and I'll chat with you one-on-one. I'll chat with him one-on-one, okay? You just logged in, you missed the class. Don't worry, Esther Owoji. You can watch the video over again. You can watch the video over again, okay? Somebody saying, what ovulation test kit is reliable? I'm sure that people can use Clear Blue. It's okay, it's good to use, but don't rely on using kits alone. Just go with the flow and have regular sex. Following one particular kit is not going to help you in most cases, okay? If you want to do tests for your infertility issues, just knock on the door at the ATG Fertilities Laboratory. We have 2 centers there. There's a laboratory where we do all fertility tests, hormonal profile, sperm count, HVS, pap smear, thyroid function test, your ECG of your heart, and we also have another section of attached to it, which is the IVF section, fully well kitted, ready for IVF, egg freezing, surrogacy, name it. IVF ATG IVF Center is ready, live since June 1st. It's been a project we've been tackling since December, and we're happy that it's gone live today. And the laboratory started almost a year now, is functioning, and we've welcomed lots of patients. So if you want to do any infertility test, the address of laboratory is already on the screen. Just call the laboratory secretary and manager tomorrow morning, and she'll tell you the test cost. Get ready and get your test done. You should not be in ATG and be barren. You should not be in ATG, but if you are barren in ATG, no, your story must change to that woman of Ejima, woman has pregnant, that woman that God has answered. Your story must change. If you're an ATG, your story hasn't changed, don't panic, but you're in the right place. Don't change the dial, stay here, get your tests done. Let's know what's going on. And once we give you your test result, follow the advice. I always tell people here, if you come to ATG laboratory and you get your test done at the ATG laboratory, I'm obliged to review your test result. But what I've noticed, a patient came to the laboratory last week and it was very, very rude to our lab staff. I was upset with the patient. I told her, because you're paying for lab tests does not mean that you should be good to people. Because you think you're paying money for a test, you think is their money, the money you pay is what they used to pay salary. That means you can talk to the person anyhow in the laboratory, calling them that they are daft. No. Because I'm paying someone's salary does not make me have power to belittle them. No. That person might be collecting salary for me today. That person might even be a boss of someone else tomorrow. So if you come to our ATG laboratory, don't be rude to our staff. They are human beings like you. Okay? They are going through challenges even worse than your challenge. So don't be rude to people. Because if my staff, if they are rude to any of our clients, I chastise and I talk to them that they should not be rude to our staff, to our clients. Neither will I encourage our client, listen to me, to be rude to our staff. They come there, they have families at home too, they have siblings, they have parents, they have people's wives, people's siblings. Be nice to them, Okay, and they are not there to make your life miserable. They are there to make your life better by the grace of God. So be nice to our lab staff, and also my lab staff, they are obliged to be nice to you because that is what I teach them every day. And I will not let anybody to be rude to any of our staff members. Neither will I allow my staff members to be rude to our ATG clients or anybody particularly. Somebody saying what is causing pressure in their butt during menstruation is probably just menstruation. Where the cycle changes almost every month by a day or two, I've already answered that question last day. It's no big deal. Plus or minus 1 or 2 days every cycle is not a big deal. Okay, but if you're still not happy because maybe you think something wrong, you can do your hormonal profile, LH, FSH, day 21 progesterone, prolactin level at the ATG laboratory, and then I can review your result and give you feedback. The lab address is already been put up on the screen by Vivian Gloria. The lab address is there, is at Alimosho. You can get all your tests done by infertility. And if you did IVF as well, there's an IVF section attached to it. We can get you egg donor, we can get you sperm donor, we can get you surrogates, we can freeze gametes, we can freeze your eggs, we can freeze your fertilized eggs, and we'll walk you through. And we have an UltraModern SCAN, a 3D scan, being a 3D 4D scan going to be installed this week. So if you need 3D scan, it's a new service coming, and in the next 6 weeks as well, by the grace of God, we will start doing hysteroscopy, where we can put a camera to look into your womb cavity, to treat recurrent miscarriages, treat Asherman syndrome, treat any polyps, treat any fibroids in your womb cavity. Hysteroscopy is going to start service. I said we start that hysteroscopy service at ATG IVF Center in the next 6 weeks, and we're going to install a new 3D 4D scan at the ATG Center this weekend by the grace of God. By the grace of God. Lillian, the address is showing. Can somebody give Lillian Ijoma Onochuku Obilezuru our lab address? Thank you guys. God bless you. Hope to see you tomorrow. We can chat more as well and talk about an interesting topic tomorrow. God bless you and hope to see you soon. And most importantly, I want to say I love you all. And I also love myself too. Thank you once more and God bless you. Bye-bye.